So then, the time has come to react to our Premier League predictions, Sophie. I'm not really looking forward to this one. How are you?
I am looking forward to this one because I actually think it's going to be hilarious because we're dreadful at this.
Well, do you know what? We're pretty bad, but we're also pretty good at times. You know, I'd like to say that we're not the worst ones out there.
Not the worst ones out there by any means.
I have had a look at other Premier League YouTubers' predictions this season compared to our own, and once again, I think we were all right. We were sort of mid-table compared to all the others. We've been pretty respectably decent this season, if that makes sense. So show us some support. We're going to get into our predictions. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments, but drop a like. We'll go for 2,000. Make sure to subscribe as well, as it really helps us out and it costs nothing, so get involved. And let's get into this, Sophie. So we're reacting to our predictions from before the 24-25 season.
Yep.
And let's start with the top three, where we both called the top three correctly, but just not in the right order.
Okay.
So I had Liverpool third, Man City second, and Arsenal first.
Right.
You had Liverpool third, Arsenal second, and Man City first. So you did get Arsenal to finish second.
Yeah.
I think this is not bad. I mean, a lot of people won't have seen Liverpool going on to win the Premier League before the season started. Yeah. Some people did call it, and if you did, fair play. I tell you what I'm going to try and take away from this. I thought this would be the year where Arsenal overtake Man City, and it was. But Liverpool have overtaken both of them.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for Liverpool, Arsenal would have won the league. But I tell you what, not bad predictions so far. We got the top three right. And I would imagine going into next season, these are the three main contenders for the title.
Yeah, I think I'll be having all of these three in the top three again. I mean, credit to Arsenal for finishing second. They keep nearly doing it, and you do think at some point, if they just get a striker, you never know. And I know they're linked with Gyökeres, and I do think if they get him, it could be a very, very different season next season. But I know there's all if, buts and maybes. But yeah, all credit to Liverpool and Arne Slot because he's come in. I know he's inherited a good squad, but it still does take a good manager to win the Premier League in your first season in the Prem. That was just very, very, very good. So yeah, all credit to him. And then Man City, I was surprised that they finished third because they're usually so dominant. But they still did finish in the top three after not a very good season. So yeah, I mean, we've got the top three right.
Yeah, they kind of improved as the season went on, Man City,
Definitely.
but they didn't actually win any cups, which is a bit disappointing. Right, so that's not a bad start. This bit, Sophie, is where things are not maybe as good. Chelsea finished fourth. We both had them sixth. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, they hit some decent form at the end there to then boost them up a little bit because I could still see them finishing sixth. But
the thing is, if they'd have drawn or lost on the final day, they would have might have finished sixth.
Exactly. So. Yeah, I mean, it came at a good time. They secured Champions League football, and that was the aim. Then you saw it by all their celebrations after.
Yeah, so fair play to Chelsea, by the way. You know, if a team overperforms our predictions, we're happy for you.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Newcastle, we both had seventh. They got fifth place. So once again, just slightly ahead of what we thought. So fair play to them. And I tell you what, really happy that they won a cup as well.
Yeah, and I've seen as well that it looks like Isak's going to be staying next season. So I think they could have another really good season next season too.
I'll tell you what, if someone from outside of that top three is going to go and challenge for the title, why not Newcastle?
Exactly.
I'd love
Massive club, good team, good manager, and as you said, they added a cup this season, so yeah, a lot of positivity around the club right now.
Sophie, next up, Villa. I had them fourth, you had them fifth. They finished sixth, but I tell you what, if VAR and the referee on the final day weren't totally incompetent, one of us might have been right, and they might have just got into the Champions League. So a bittersweet one there.
It's £100 million decision, that. And I know people have been saying like, yeah, but remember a couple of seasons ago they stayed up because goal line technology didn't work. So it's like, as karma kind of balanced itself out, but I don't know, you'd be absolutely gutted as a Villa fan.
I tell you what though, I think that's really impressive that they were right up there considering they went so far in the Champions League this season.
True.
And I tell you what, next season, I'm going to make Villa my favourites to win the Europa League.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to win the league. Okay,
no.
Whoa, big shout.
I fancy
Europa
them.
League, yeah.
I think that's winnable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tottenham have won it this season, so why can't Villa do it?
Sure.
Right, next up, Sophie. Forest, Brighton and Bournemouth finished 7th, 8th and 9th. Now, usually, I get accused of being too nice to Forest and too optimistic. I had them 14th. You had them 15th. In fairness, we both thought they would improve on last season where they finished 17th, but...
Not by that much.
I mean, unless you're a very optimistic Forest fan, you wouldn't have seen this coming.
No, not at all. And then the fact is that they could have finished higher as well. Like, they were around that top 4, and I think if you'd asked me a couple of months ago if Forest were going to finish in top 4, I'd say, yeah, they are, because they were in very good form, and it looked like a cert, to be fair, that they were going to get Champions League football. So they'd actually fallen off a little bit, but we didn't even predict them to finish that high.
No, I tell you what, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because before the season, 7th would have been incredible, but halfway through the season, expectations changed and everyone was thinking they'll make Champions League, so it's a bit of a strange one. But on the whole, very impressive. Nuno's done great. The signings were brilliant that they brought in, Milenkovic in particular.
Solid.
I think he got player of the season. Yeah, him and Murillo, fantastically strong. Yeah. Brighton finished in 8th, Sophie. Yeah. You had them 9th, I had them 11th, so we were both pretty close. You were pretty much there. Mid-table / top half seems to be right for Brighton a lot of the time.
Yeah, to be fair, they're around that, give or take, like, say, 3 places, but they're pretty solid in the Prem now. And
Bournemouth, we both had 12th. They finished 9th, so a little bit above us. But once again, solid. I mean, Bournemouth, Brighton, why can't one of these teams make a push for Europe next season? They've all done pretty well, and they're well-run clubs.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying this season, just fell short. But yeah, exactly. Who knows? A few more additions next season, we'll see. But I think some of their players will be going out as well. But both clubs seem to find good replacements. So it's not like, if they lose their players, I can see them finishing near the bottom. No, I think they'll replace well, and who knows, they might push for Europe next season.
Oh, here comes a stinker, Sophie. Brentford. We both had them to go down.
Why? Why did we do that, actually?
Because I think at the start of every season, in the summer, you kind of forget how bad the newly promoted teams tend to do, and you might have one of them to survive, and then that's at the expense of one of the regular Premier League teams. We went for Brentford for no apparent reason.
I was going to say, why did we both go for them though? There must have been a reason.
Now, last season, they did finish 16th, which was a big step backwards on the couple seasons before that. So maybe we thought, are they trending down?
Yeah.
But they've trended right back up. They finished 10th, so...
I like them as well. I like the manager, and I think they've got some really good players.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry as well. That was terrible from us both.
And I tell you what, very impressive. The only thing is, the season's just ended, and they've said they're open to selling Visa and Mbuemo.
Yeah.
The thing is, if they sell those players, that then makes me a little bit like, oh no, for next season. But then I shouldn't underestimate them, because the recruitment is always really good.
It is, to be fair, but I don't know. If they lose both those players, I'm not going to say, they're going down next season, because look at that was a dreadful call by both of us. But if you lose 2 really key players that chip in with so many goals, I don't know, that could be a very different season.
It could be, but on the whole, well done on a top half finish this season, Brentford. We apologise for massively underestimating you. And as Sophie said, we like Brentford. Fulham, we did slightly underestimate, but not as bad. I had them 15th, you had them 14th. They finished 11th. I tell you what's really ruined the predictions this season, Sophie, because Tottenham and Man United, who we all associate with being in the top 6 or top 8, were all the way down there. Everyone's up 2 places on where we might have thought. So,
and also, like, they've gained points because Man United and Tottenham, when they were playing people, they just didn't care. So other teams were then gaining points, and then almost like false positions in a way.
But I don't want to discredit Fulham. I thought they were pretty good on the whole. Didn't end the season in their best form. That's why they've ended up finishing in the bottom half, but still pretty solid once again with Marco Silva.
Yeah, and I think it could be similar next season. Maybe drop down like a position or 2, but I fancy them around there again.
Crystal Palace, Sophie, I had them 9th, you had them 11th, they finished 12th. You tend to be one off a lot of the time.
Yeah. And they're always about 12th as well, so I don't know why I didn't just go for 12.
We both had Bournemouth 12th, so there's a couple of clubs you kind of associate with mid-table positions. So we both slightly overestimated them, but then at the same time, they've made up for it by winning the FA Cup. So I'm really chuffed for them.
Yeah, I am. As a fan base, as a team, club, I'm just very, very happy that they've finally won the FA Cup. They've got some silverware because it's been a long old drought. Good, solid end to the season. Another team where you think, are they going to lose a couple of players? How are they going to replace them? But very good season. The fact that you've won a cup and then finished around 12th. Well, it was 12th. So mid-table. in the Prem. Good season.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Sophie, let's reveal the next 4 teams. Everton, we both had 16th. They finished 13th. I tell you what, if Moyes doesn't go in, I think we're right. I think with Deitch, they probably finished 16th or 17th.
Yeah, lower.
Moyes went in there and they started performing like a top 10 team. That's why they started to climb towards the top half. So that fills me with confidence going into next season. And I tell you what, if the end of this season's anything to go by, I might be feeling optimistic for Everton next year, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be a bit more optimistic. I don't want to go as far to say, like, I think they'll have a really good season next season. But they did finish the season strong. They were getting some really good results against good teams as well, like beating some of the top teams. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positives to take going into next season. And you never know, add a few more players. I think they have got a few going out, but I don't think they're like top players going out. So, yeah, if you bring in some good players again, who knows? Could be a little bit higher next season.
Both had West Ham slightly higher than where they finished. We both had them 10th. They finished 14th.
That wasn't too bad in the end.
A few weeks ago, they looked like they might finish 16th or 17th, so they've kind of clawed their way towards our prediction.
I think that's more so because Man United, Spurs was so bad, Wolves had a bad start, so you couldn't really finish lower than them. So
once again, it's a little bit of a cop-out to say this, but because West Ham changed their manager as well, it's kind of thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. We weren't to know that Graham Potter would come in necessarily. So
no, true. But I do look at some of their transfer business and I think, oh, that's good.
Get excited.
Good. Yeah. And then you think, oh, you never know, a good season. And then it just wasn't a good season, really, was it?
No. Manchester United, a terrible season. They finished 15th. Yeah. I had them 5th. You had them 4th. Yeah. You had them in the top 4, so you were 11 places out. I mean, I was 10 places out, both terrible.
Yeah.
No one surely saw them dropping off this much.
I think some people probably did.
Not to 15th though, Sophie. I mean, they were
maybe not 15th, but dropping down.
If they're not careful, they could be in a relegation battle soon. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got to improve the team. And to tell you what, although they're not in Europe next season, which isn't great, it means they can surely focus on being better in the Premier League next year. Yeah,
I mean, it will affect their pull, but ultimately, I think some players, regardless of where they finish in the table, will be like, I want to play for Man United. I mean, they've just signed Cunha, which is a good sign, and he's proven in the Prem. Only thing is he does seem to have like a poor disciplinary record and attitude, and you think, really, part of like the Man United build, do you want someone with that kind of attitude and ego? But I guess you need someone that's going to be performing in the Prem, so as long as he does actually turn up and his attitude's a little bit better, I think he could be a good signing. But yeah, I don't know, they don't have the same pull that they once did. If you want top players, I know they were linked with Gyökeres, and then as soon as they didn't guarantee Champions League football, it's like, that one's gone. Surely they'll finish higher next season, but I don't know, it's a complete rebuild at Man United.
It certainly is. Manchester United fans, do share your thoughts. It's not the best place to be right now, is it? Wolves, we both had 13th. They finished 16th. Now, for a lot of the season, they were in the relegation battle, but they actually clawed their way towards 13th only a couple games ago. Just in the last 2 or 3 games, they dropped off a little bit and they've fallen back down to 16th. So we weren't a million miles off. The main thing is we had them to stay up. We've slightly overestimated them. The latest developments now is Cunha is on his way to Manchester United. They need to be careful not to be in a relegation battle again next season, I suppose, is the main thing.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to bring in. I know they've got Strand Larsen, who's a decent player, but like all season long, I don't think you can rely on him. They've been quite reliant on Cunha, but then he has missed quite a few games through suspension, and then they weren't really starting him at the end. I think they were preparing for life without him. But yeah, I think they are going to need a few signings. They want to keep hold of that Ait Nouri. I think he's a very good player. Maybe not the best defensively, but going forwards, he's absolutely solid. So if they can keep some other key players and then build around them, yeah, hopefully they'll stay up again next season. But I think, again, they could have finished down there as long as Man United and Tottenham didn't fall off a cliff, so that then boosted them up a little bit. Absolutely.
Speaking of Tottenham, let's move on to the bottom 4. We both had Tottenham 8th. They finished 17th. Absolutely dreadful. 17th for one of the so-called Big Six to finish 17th is so bad. The context is they were quite clear of 18th place in terms of points. It wasn't really like they were ever going to go down. But if they're not careful, they could get dragged into trouble next season. Now the thing is, the more the season went on, Sophie, I started to believe Ange, by the way, because when we did our Europa League final predictions, I did back Tottenham to win that. And they've won that. They've also finished 17th because Ange, let's be honest, he's prioritised the Europa League.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be, imagine they get relegated next season but also win the Champions League because they're prioritising that. Imagine that.
Could you imagine?
Honestly, Ange has already said that season 3 is always better than season 2, so surely something's up his sleeve for next season.
Yeah, not the Champions League though. I think that's too big even for Ange's dreams. But yeah, I mean, very, very poor season, to be honest. And you look at their team and they do have a good team. I know they've been plagued with injuries, but I mean, quite a lot of teams have. They just always seem to have a bad injury record. Shortly they'll finish higher next season. Ultimately, they've won the Europa, so that's a trophy. Another team that hasn't won for a long time. They've got Champions League football, so if they are looking to get a few more signings, they have got that pull. So yeah, it'll be a better season next season. I don't think they're going to finish that low next season. I'll say that now.
Surely not. Surely not. Right. Let's move into the bottom 3, Sophie. Now, we both did predict 2 of the newly promoted teams to go down. I had Ipswich to stay up. They didn't. No. You had Southampton.
I knew this was coming. This is one of my worst calls as well. Like, they'd only just beat Derby's record. And I thought, oh, they've made just a couple decent signings. I don't know why I thought they'd stay up, but they were just, they let me down, to be honest. It was poor.
So Leicester, I had 19th, you had 20th, they finished 18th. That's not too bad, I guess. I mean, fair play to them for finishing highest out of the newly promoted teams, but it's not a massive consolation, I guess. Ipswich, I had to stay up, you had to just go down, and they have gone down. Yeah. So, unfortunate for Ipswich.
Yeah.
But Southampton, I got correct. I said they'd finished 20th, which is the only prediction I've got spot on in this whole video. Sophie, you had them 17th. On the whole, you got Arsenal to finish 2nd, correct, which is 1. And I had Southampton to finish 20th, correct, which is 1. So
not even good calls either, really, is it?
Not really. I mean, what's your takeaway from this as we wrap it up? Are we rubbish?
Yeah, I'd say we're pretty poor, to be honest. And if we do predictions for next season, probably don't even bother watching, or unless you fancy a good laugh.
Yes, exactly. Come and watch us. We'll be a comedy channel. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you what, Sophie, we reacted.
It is hard, though.
We did our Championship prediction reactions yesterday, and they were all right. The Premier League ones, though, it's just, I don't know. It was quite an unpredictable season with Liverpool winning the league. I think the main takeaway is Man United and Tottenham have been terrible. Maybe not be so generous to them next season. And the bottom 3 is usually the 3 that have come up. So maybe that's what we need to predict for next season.
Yeah, that's easy ones, isn't it? Like 1, 2, 3, bottom, bish bash bosh, they're out.
Yeah, so do share your thoughts down below. Let us know if you did predictions, and if you did, then how you got on with them. Let us know your thoughts on our predictions, but try not to be too horrible. Drop a like, make sure you've subscribed as well. It takes 2 seconds, and your support is massively appreciated. Next week, we're going to be giving our very early predictions for next season, so do look out for that. Thank you so much for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you all in the next one. Take care. Peace out.